he'd wake me up, and then I'd stand post. And, you know, so you're sitting there shivering, and, you know, whoever was standing post didn't have the poncho, so you're sitting there shivering, and the other guy's, like, sleeping, and you're all mad because he gets to sleep. But then, like, 2 hours from now, he's all mad at you because you get to sleep. But, like, you know, 50-50, that sucks. That's how it is. But, like, definitely stressful, and it's hard to think. But, yeah, we froze that night. That sucked.
So y'all weren't expecting it to be so. I mean, you're going to Iraq. You just assume you're going to be in the desert and it's going to be warm at night.
Yeah. We didn't really know. Like they said, it was going to be pretty close to the 29 Palms, you know, climate, but
which is a desert in California as well. So
it is almost exactly the same. But yeah, it gets cold at night. It's like a 30 to 40 degree difference from day to night. You know, it'll be 90 during the day and 50 at night. You know.
Well, I assume too. All that sweat collected inside your mop suits. That probably didn't help out either. So,
yeah, okay. Definitely. You'd lay down if you know when you're all sweaty and you freeze.
So what ended up happening the second, or you know, I'm sure I'm going to refer to the attack on the 32nd as if it were the first day. So do you have any memories of what happened on the second day?
Ooh, after that, I remember there was a lot of moving around, a lot of digging, fighting holes, and then we'd move into an area and we'd have different objectives and stuff like that. So in order to, like, in specific order, I'd have to look at like the unit diary to figure out where we went exactly. But I do have memories along the way. It's just the order of the memories may be out of place. But I remember it was at night. We crossed a bridge, and there was a fight at the bridge. And I want to say like half the bridge was blown, so they had to do like they set up a military style. Whoever the bridge guys are in the Marine Corps or whatever had to bridge the gap that there was. But I remember them telling us that, you know, a tank and its crew were killed because the driver, I guess, fell asleep is what they were speculating, and ended up like going off. And the tank went into the river, and you know the occupants ended up dying. But I don't think I had known that at that time. They told us later about that. But this bridge we crossed, and I remember it was real narrow because, you know, only needs to be as wide as, you know, the military vehicles really. And so we crossed this bridge, and I remember sticking my head out because they had said that there was a fight here, so I wanted to see, you know, what some of the aftermath was, and there was
Was this during the day or night?
This was at night, so I had my NVGs, my night vision goggles, and I'm looking around, and it was kind of surreal. Like there was some dead Iraqi tanks, you know, that were still smoldering. There was buildings on fire in the area. You know, little fires here and there, and then I remember seeing like a half a dozen or so you know, dead bodies laying around, and dogs. Oh, yeah, that's one thing I remember is I remember a dog. You know, there's dogs all over Iraq, and they're not pet dogs. They're, you know, wild dogs. And I remember a dog tugging at this guy's face, like this dead guy's face. Like, and later on, I found out that one of the I think Staff Sergeant Wilder or someone had it on videotape, or Staff Sergeant Champion. I think one of those guys. Ended up videotaping that, and they're like, "Yeah, that was awesome." I'm like, "Yeah, that's kind of morbid, but okay." But shortly after that, that was I want to say that was on our way to go do a raid on a prison camp where there was suspected American POWs that we were going to go try and rescue. And I remember sitting outside, or sitting. Like staging for this while the higher ups were all doing their planning or whatever, and like we were staged for like 4 or 5 hours, and a lot of the Marines were like, why aren't we just going, let's go bust in there and do this, you know, like, but I guess they had to get the schematics for the you know, for the little prison camp or whatever it was, so that we could, you know, plan and go in there and be successful like we're supposed to be. and that's when like I found out. You know, I was sitting in the track with the rest of the squad, and my squad leader said that me and Whaley had to be track security, and I was pretty pissed about that. Like, I had to be track security because I was the junior guy, and Whaley did just because he got in trouble a lot. So
you mean you were tasked with not going on the raid? You were going to just have to sit back and guard
the track and make sure they were all safe.
I imagine you were pretty disappointed.
Yeah, I was upset about that. So I went outside and I think I went piss or something, and Gerke came out, and we were just sitting there BSing. And
Gerke? That's the guy the other guy who was going to be track security? Or?
No, he was supposed to go on the raid. Lance Corporal Gerke, he was a Lance Corporal at that time. He got out of the Marine Corps after his first 4 years as a corporal, and then when he came back in, they said, well, since you've been out for a year and a half, we got to start you up as a Lance Corporal, and then you know, you should pick up corporal after so long. Well, we had a very old school First Sergeant Burns. He was an infantry, you know, first sergeant, and he's like, you're not picking up until I feel you rate it. And you know, Gerke was kind of out of shape, and he was getting a little older and stuff. So like, if you couldn't PT, you weren't picking up. You know, you weren't getting promoted. And so anyways, so Gerke's talking to me outside how, you know,
this is all at night because your raids you were doing at night. Okay.
Yeah, this is all at night. So we're standing outside BSing a little bit, and he's saying, you know, I was complaining to him how I wanted to go on this raid, and he's like, I think the idea kind of got in his head. Well, I think I may have put it there. I was saying, you know, like you should do track security, man. I was like, you got a family and kids and stuff, and he's like, yeah, you're right. You know, he's like, I got a family and kids, and I've got all this military schooling, and basically, like, I'm worth more to the Marine Corps, so, like, you should go on this raid, and I'll stay back. And I was like, yeah, I was like, you should go tell Colby Delfield that so that I can go on this raid, you know? Like, I was like, you shouldn't go on it anyways. It's dangerous, you know? I was like, you got a wife and kid to worry about, or wife and kids to worry about. He's like, yeah. So, so he ends up talking to Colby Delfield, and, you know, in the Marine Corps, if anyone says any doubt and that they don't want to go on a mission, like, if you've got an extra body that does want to go, of course you're going to take them, because you don't want that guy that's scared anyways. You know, you want someone that wants to be there so that they're not going to endanger the rest of the Marines.
It's that whole warrior ethos. Any sign of weakness is viewed poorly amongst your colleagues.
Exactly. So that actually hurt him a lot. Is in the eyes of the other Marines. Like, the other Marines lost a lot of respect for him after that. But I got to go on the raid, so, you know. And
you planted his head anyway, so.
Yeah, I'm kind of an instigator that way. In fact, like, hey, I get to go. He didn't want to go. We all got what we wanted. It's just he had a little different consequences than I did.
So could you go a little more into detail about the raid? You said you had intel that there was American POWs there. Are these the same American POWs, I assume, were the whole Jessica Lynch freaking Patriot maintenance battalion that unfortunately drove in the Nasiriyah and were ambushed?
Yeah, that's what I was told. Like, and we had heard that, you know, we were gonna go rescue Jessica Lynch and stuff. Like, I was like, who's that? You know, like, whatever. And actually, I don't even think her